Let's have a look at some of the harmonization modes in chords. You can access those via settings and then this purple pad. There is a matrix for the modes, one for each of the 16 channels. Channel 16 is reserved for internal communication with QK devices. That's why there's an X at the bottom right corner. We can select a channel with the first knob, and then with the second knob I can select a mode. There is a few different modes. There's off, harmonize, chord mode, chord notes mode, and through. Off and through are self-explanatory. Let's have a look at some of the different modes. So you can see here that I've selected channel 5 to be harmonize. I'll select channel 6 and set that to chord, and I'll select channel 7 and I'll select that to chord notes mode. Let's have a look at these in turn. Channel 5 is the harmonize mode. This means that incoming notes for the channel are transposed to chord notes. You can see that written down here on the pads, the yellow pads, second row to the left. So basically you compose always in C major. The C, E, G and B notes will trigger chord notes being the root, third, fifth and seventh, the first, second, third and fourth note of the chord respectively. Let's take a look and see how things sound. I'll bring up LK here. I've got a very common poppy chord progression here, bass channel, which is channel 5. So likely anything we do will sound quite cheesy. Let's put in a note here and press play. The single note. Let's change the duration of this. So let's come back to chords, and we're locked to the first chord. So that's why we're just hearing the and no. Okay, so now if we, instead of being locked to the chord, lock to the scene, we'll be able to hear the harmonization occur as we move to the different chords in the chord progression. Okay, so let's put in in between the chord. Okay, so the harmonization also responds to octaves. So if we move this down an octave, so that's how the harmonization mode works. Let's come back to chords and have a look at now. We've got channel 6 set to chord mode. Okay. And in this mode, my pluck channel, incoming notes trigger the whole chord. Depending on the note you send, it will invert the chord up or down. So a C note will trigger a root inversion. Let's invert. That's up. Good. So let's just come and lock to that first chord, come back to LK. Okay, and if we go back to okay, so now let's chords down, play from the C. Okay, so let's maybe put these to something a little less dramatic. Okay, so that's the chords mode. It triggers the entire chord, and the note you send will invert the chord up or down. Let's come back to chords and look at channel 7, which we've sent to the chord notes mode. And in chord notes mode, it's a combination, a simplified combination of the above two modes, whereby C, E, G and B trigger the root, third, fifth and seventh of the chord. D and A trigger the lowest note and the highest note of the chord. And F triggers the whole chord in whatever inversion you had it set to in your progression. So now if we were to put in a C, E and G, so we've got the root, third and fifth of the chord, and a D and an A, and a F, triggers the whole chord. So let's come back to chords and play the whole chord progression. Okay, so if we take these off, I'm not sure what this will sound like, but okay, and so in this way you can build up harmony, and you can even re-harmonize your song on the fly as you jump around from chord to chord, scene to scene. And so this is how the chord modes work, the harmonization modes work in chords.